By now you may have heard the news that the CEO of Zillow, Spencer Rascoff, has stepped down. Here's what you need to know about what they're planning to do moving forward. Hey, it's Dustin, Oldfather of the Oldfather Group of Sotheby's International Realty and owner of Modern Mortgage Prosperity. So many of us were surprised at the news that Spencer Rascoff had stepped down as the CEO of Zillow, now being replaced by one of the original founders of the Zillow Group, Rich Barton. And so there are some changes coming to what Zillow is intending to do. I've been fortunate as a premier agent for many years to have some insight and to have some dialogue and conversations with those principals behind closed doors and to have access to their thinking. And so there are some changes that are coming. There is recently a backlash from the New York Premier Agent 4 rollout from Zillow, which saw a number of real estate advertisers pull back on their spends. And so if you're an advertiser on Zillow, there's been some frustration. And what's interesting is there's a very difficult balance that Zillow has to make between their North Star, which is their consumer, and the people who pay for the North Star, which is Realtors. The lion's share of revenue for Zillow comes from advertising spend. And so it's an interesting model in that the people that are paying for the existence of the company are not the people that are ultimately being focused on to be served, which is a bit of a challenge. Here's what I would say though, is Zillow has got the minds and the eyeballs of the consumer. And so it's still important to be mindful of what they're planning to do. Now, some markets we've seen the Premier Agent 4 model really affect people's businesses in a negative way. Other markets we've seen the Premier Agent 4 rollout work in a very positive way. But here's what's happening, and maybe the insight that I would share. Rich Barton has a vision of making Zillow an online Uber for real estate. I'll say that again. Their goal is to Uberize real estate, which seemed really far-fetched 10 years ago, but is becoming more and more realistic. And so their recent move into buying a mortgage company and being able to try to affect that part of the transaction, as well as becoming a buyer of properties, an iBuyer, if you will, which means that they will pay cash for your home. The goal is to give the buyer liquidity. They're going to buy that home, bring it into the fold, paint and tile, paint, carpet and tile, and then put that home back on the market with an agent to give that buyer liquidity to move forward on the next property. Obviously that's at some sort of discount. It has a push-pull also because the Zestimates, which are provided by Zillow, give someone a value, and they can't play games with, obviously discounting somebody's property too much. In general, those offers are almost always declined, but there are some folks that are using that cash offer. So Zillow's vision is to change and expand their revenue model into mortgage and into actually creating liquidity in the markets with using venture capital to be able to package up those properties and sell them for a profit, and then also take on some of the value that's created in the mortgage origination. So you're going to continue to see Zillow make inroads into other dimensions of the real estate marketplace. Know that their larger global vision is to become the marketplace for real estate. And agents are certainly a part of that, and it's something that we need to be mindful of. If the Premier Agent program works for you, then obviously that's something that's positive. At a minimum, we need to be aware and be cognizant of what their plans are so that we can navigate in the current environment. So those would be my insights into what's happening at Zillow and what is coming up down the ride.